Hey, Diane, instead of in my sister's living room, we're on my sister's porch.
All right.
I'm outside, outside today, and wanted to talk to you about distractions. So hopefully the beautiful weather won't be a distraction for me. We think about, well, let's think about a common scripture, and that is in Matthew 14, I want to think. Matthew 14 in the 20s. That's how good I am, y'all, on my Bible memory verses. But I'm thinking it's somewhere around 20, 21, 22, where we're talking about Peter walking on the water, and paraphrasing in Terry words, and that is that Jesus called Peter to come out of the boat, start walking, and Peter's walking, and then all of a sudden he starts seeing the waters do what they do when the wind is blowing, starts looking around instead of looking at Jesus. And then what happens?
Yep.
He starts to fall.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
distractions, they come often. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we know how that goes, right? Taking our eyes off the Lord, you know, um, all different types of distractions every day. So
Mhm.
we have just life things happen, TV, all type of electronic devices,
Right.
um, school, work, family, whatever the enemy can use, he tries to use as a distraction to keep us from spending quality time with the Lord.
Yeah. Spending
Um,
quality time and doing what we're supposed to be doing.
absolutely. Which is that studying, evangelizing, helping someone else other than ourselves, um, meditating on His Word, just doing the things that would help us be more in line for what He would have us to do.
Yeah. So when we talk about what Peter did, he looked at things that could be perceived to be bad. Oh my gosh, the wind, the waves, all of this bad stuff is going on. But I like how you said family, work, other things, because a lot of times distractions come disguised as something good to do or spend our time in.
That is very true. That is very true. I mean, those things happen. We do have family things that come up, um, work things that come up, and things like that. But I think where it gets a little off kilter is when we don't prioritize some time with the Lord. Like people will say, well, I don't have any time. Well, you've got 10 minutes to do something. Even if it's 10 minutes, start somewhere. Um, he's blessed us throughout the whole day. We should give him a little bit of our time. So I think that with the distractions, it causes us to start to operate in with or the resources. Like we're going to go on and do this. We're going to go on and do that. We're not praying. We get off kilter. Uh,
Mhm.
we're not. We miss blessings. We miss opportunities. It's just so many things that the enemy puts in our way that causes us to be off target for where the Lord would have us to be in His time.
Yeah, yeah. My speak for myself, and that is when I get an assignment, let's say, something that I'm to be doing, let's say it's teaching a class for a period of time or connecting with a group of women or people to kind of work through a study or anything.
Mhm.
The Lord tells you to do it. Let's say he says do it until he tells you to not do it. Well, things start to get rough. Things start to get hard. Something else happens that's good. I don't know. Did he really tell me to do that? You start getting thinking about other things that maybe that's a better use of my time. And it pulls us away from what he said, like you said, in our time, what you're supposed to be doing right now. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's wonderful for you to go off and, I don't know, XYZ. Well, that's what Diane's supposed to be doing. I told you to do ABC. And it's like, oh, that sounds cool. It's like the shiny red ball. Let me go do that. I'm doing something, God. Yeah, but you're not doing what I told you to do. Do not get distracted.
It's easy to do. And what I try to do, Terry, for myself is that if I come home, when I come home from work and there's something, if I start on something else other than, like, say, I'm going to spend my time with the Lord, it may not happen until like 10 o'clock that night. And then that might be just a few minutes, where if I came home and I just started doing, like, I'm going to spend a half an hour with the Lord, whatever that may be,
Mm-hmm.
then I feel much better about, don't turn the TV on and all those types of things that distract me. I
Yeah.
make my little tablet and play a game. By the time half an hour goes by, now you're in an hour and a half and you're still playing the game, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just what the enemy wants us to do. Like, it's just kind of like, that's right, you're too tired now, go on to bed. You didn't get any reading in, or you didn't call to check on sister, brother, so and so, or to see how
Yeah.
your nephew was doing in school, whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just constant.
Mm-hmm. And I have learned, and I've said this to plenty of people, and that is, a lot of times I don't have as much problem with the distractions from things you don't want to do or people you don't want to be bothered with, right? Those things aren't the temptation or the distraction for you. The distraction comes from people I trust, that can get me off kilter, because I'm like, oh, well, Diane said maybe I should be doing something else. Well, you have standing with me, right? You have a high stock value with me. But if it was somebody I don't have no history with, or plus I think either they have kind of suspect motives, I'll be like, no, I ain't listening to them. They're not going to get me off track. But sometimes unknowingly, maybe friends or family can also be those distractions.
That's very true. It's very true. And we have to be mindful of that. I mean, it does happen, right? Sometimes my phone will ring and I'll look and I'll be like, I'll have to take that later. I'll give them a call back, but that's a distraction from maybe something that I need to do,
Mm-hmm.
at that particular time.
Mm-hmm.
And you give them a call back later, but I mean, it's a legitimate maybe call, and things like that, but it's not at the right time,
Yeah.
And once we get off of whatever we're supposed to do at that particular time,
Mm-hmm.
it may not happen at all that day. You know what I mean? You may not get back to it till tomorrow or a couple of days from now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So now I see that's why your excuse why you don't pick up when I be calling. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, that's a good point, because a lot of times the thing is, I want us to go back to what would have helped Peter. And that's what it needs to help us. And that is keeping our eyes affixed on God. So if we focus on what it is we're supposed to be looking at, we don't look at the things we're not supposed to be looking at.
Absolutely.
And it needs to be that proactive approach.
Right. And even back, and I was reading another scripture remember where Jesus was coming to visit Martha and Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Martha was cooking and getting everything prepared, and Mary was sitting at Jesus' feet. And Martha got mad, right? She was like, look, she should be in here helping me, Would the Lord tell her, well, no, she's in the right place where she should be. Mm-hmm. We appreciate all the preparation that you're doing, but Mary's where it's the important place to be. You know what I mean? So just like you're saying in regards to Peter, and any of us taking our eyes off of the Lord, those things will distract you, and you will start to fall, and you will start to do things, like I was saying earlier, do things from your own perspective and getting worried and anxious about things because you took your eyes off of our Father,
Mhm.
you
And
know.
and I think that's really a good summary of what we should do to kind of get us out of distractions. Check back to ourselves and say, what was the last instruction I got from the Lord? You know, for Peter, it was come. It wasn't go look at this, go look at that, go look at that. It was like, okay, come on out there. So what was your last instruction? If you haven't gotten a new instruction, don't let anything else take you off of that, you know, and also challenge, okay, is this something that's only just good to do, or is it the great thing I'm supposed to be doing?
And you'll know when it's a distraction that's not right. Like I said, me and you both said the family things come up, things legitimately come up, right? I mean,
Mhm.
you will know in your heart when it's like, no, this, you know what I mean, where you don't, where versus something that you have to address at that particular time, or something that you don't need to address at that particular time.
Right.
You will know that. And just, I think that we just need to be mindful of the fact of the difference, and not like if something really is urgent that you don't tend to it, but then if it's something legitimately where it's like, you know what, that can wait, you'll know when it's a distraction. Just the plethora of things we already had mentioned before, that you just need to be mindful of.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Thanks for chatting with us about that. And hopefully, people will be able to get themselves refocused if they are off kilter. If they're not, share with us some of the tips that they have on not letting the distractions get them off track. So I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.